So, let's start here in child's pose. So, in your child's pose, arms here are going to start forward. Forearms are relaxed onto the ground. And when you breathe here, I want to feel you. I want to make sure that you feel that the breath can go still into the belly. And since the belly here is slightly contained between your thighs, the breath will naturally be moving a little bit more into the back body. So as your breath moves a little bit more into the back body, you'll feel it first into the lower back. Then as your breath deepens a little bit more, you will feel it a little bit more into the ribs and the bottom of your rib cage. Then you want to let that breath continue to expand gently until you can start to feel it in between the shoulder blades and maybe a little bit behind your head. This will create a very small tucking of your chin with every big breath that you take. If you have very, very opened hips and your knees are a little bit wider than your shoulders, maybe bring your knees a little closer together because you want to have that presence in the front of the body. So if you know yourself to be quite flexible in child's pose, knees should come closer together. This will make your head a little bit lighter on the ground as well. Donc votre tête va être un petit peu plus légère sur le sol. Vous allez la sentir beaucoup plus facilement. Good. So when you start to feel that the breath comes into the neck, then send your arms gently back. And here you can either find your wrists into your back or wedge your wrists between your ankles and your buttocks. And then you continue to let your shoulders relax. Really take the time. And it's as if your forehead could walk itself a couple of millimeters further forward. And it's that same kind of breath and that same kind of softness and relaxation that we strive to find in something like Sarvangasana. Freeing your hands, bring them underneath your shoulders. Take your time to very, very, very slowly unroll the spine. And then coming into all fours. In your all fours, take the second to just place your hands. Fingertips maybe move a little bit further out to the sides of the mat. And then, we've done that before, little circles above your wrists and knees, warming up the joint. And as soon as you're comfortable, you can start to let the spine undulate. Here again, using minimal amount of strength. The idea here is not to go to your maximum range of motion, but to just invite movement and find tightness, find tension. It's almost impossible that there's no tension anywhere, so if you haven't found any, take it a little bit longer. Good. Let's take a last breath in. And with your next exhale, lower the forearms to the ground. Here you can interlace your hands or stay in a prayer position. Gently lengthen one leg first, second leg to a low plank. So here, since we are going to go into an inversion, the core is very important again. So if you can activate your core properly, inversions will naturally be lighter. Good. Let's take just a couple of extra breaths. Stay on your knees here, especially if you're not sure the core strength is up to par today. Give yourself a bit of a chance. It's okay. Make sure the head stays nicely pulled out of the shoulders. Do not let your head drop. With your next breath out, press your hips up and back into dolphin pose. Maybe you'll take a little step forward. Really widen into the shoulders. Relax the head and neck again. Take your time to breathe. Good. Last breath in. Gently knees return to the floor. Short child's pose. Your knees should be even a little closer together. So eventually knees may come all the way together and arms will lengthen back. So again, feel the breath moving up the spine, a little bit into the neck. And then you may even start to feel that breath moving a little bit more towards the back of your skull, almost as if it was a balloon gently inflating. Good. Thank you. Come and place your forearms to either sides of your head. Les avant-bras sont de chaque côté de la tête. Rolling slowly forward. So here you want to keep the top of your skull to the ground, a little bit as if you were preparing to go into a headstand. Though we're not going there yet. You really just want to put a little bit of weight onto the top of your head. If you're not sure where we're going, maybe you want to sit up and just have a look first. And so here, as I cup my head, I would just let it gently roll from one side to the next, gently tucking a little bit towards my chin, playing a little bit with different range of motion, but my forearms are cupping the sides of my head, so my head cannot go into extensive range of motion. And so you can play with deeper flexion, letting the spine round, and then moving back a couple of times. So you get in touch with the different sensations that come with adding a tiny bit of weight to the top of your skull. And then when you're done, gently sit back down and let's slowly roll up. Good. So this will bring us into our first shoulder stand. So here, let's make a team of two. Find a partner and let's find a bolster.